Ladies and gentlemen, how are you folks? I hope you're all having a fantastic evening, my freedom-loving patriots, my dear community. Let's get right into it. So, with the pardon of Hunter Biden that Joe Biden has done, he has gifted Donald Trump the biggest political gift Trump could have ever even imagined, right? The Bible tells us that the wicked lay snares for the righteous and yet fall into them themselves. Meaning they're doing something, whether it's corruption, deceit, thievery, or they want to set someone up to get them in trouble, maybe political persecution, anyone? But then they're the ones who end up paying the price. Now, before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, please give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed or you're following me if you're watching this on Twitter X. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification button so that you are notified every time I upload. We're going to cover a vast majority of things that are right now happening. First things first, do you all remember Big Fanny? This is going to be just the icing on the cake. We're going to start with this and we're going to bite deep into the cake. Judge orders Fani Willis to release all communications with Jack Smith and the January 6th committee. A judge ordered Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to release all communications with Jack Smith and the House January 6th committee. Earlier this year, conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch asked the Superior Court of Fulton County, Georgia, for a default judgment against Fani Willis, refusing to answer its open records request. Now, what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? We all know that Joe Biden's administration colluded with Fani Willis, right, to go after Trump. I'm pulling up Twitter right now. I want to take you to where is he? I'm going to show you here in just a second. As soon as I find it, I'm going to show it to you. Here we go. Beheezy George did a great job explaining what this means. Breaking. A judge in Georgia just ordered Fani Willis to release all communications she had with Jack Smith in the January 6th committee to plot the RICO case against President Trump. The court also declared that she violated Georgia's open records law. The court also hereby orders, this is a quote, orders defendant to conduct a diligent search of her records for responsive materials within 5 business days of the entry of this order. Within that same 5-day period, the defendant is ordered to provide plaintiff, that is Trump's side, with copies of all responsive records that are not legally exempted or accepted from disclosure. Big shout out to at Judicial Watch and the great Tom Fitton for another slam donkey victory. This could bring major legal troubles for Fani if indeed she coordinated with the federal government to go after President Trump. And then he finishes off by saying, I have to say, the courts just haven't been kind to Fani. She loses every time she opens her mouth to argue a case. She probably regrets going after Trump and just wishes she was on a cruise or cabin massaging Nathan Wade's bald head. So here's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that when Kash Patel becomes FBI director and Bondi is Trump's attorney general, they will get to go into what they, not only that, but when her communications, if she had any communications with the January 6th Unselect Committee, when Trump's AG, DOJ, FBI directors all look into what the Biden administration was doing, and they see that Jack Smith, Fani Willis, the Biden administration, right, They all colluded to go after Donald Trump. This opens up a brand new Pandora box for Trump to go after them. Now, whenever he does start going after them, and the mainstream news media starts screaming and crying and complaining and whining, guess what we get to do? We say, you indicted our president first. You raided his house first. You had him arrested and you took a mugshot and released it to the public first. You Democrats colluded and made up fake charges against Donald Trump and many patriots across the country in the last 4 years. You threw many grandmas, fathers, grandfathers in jail for praying outside of an abortion clinic. You weirdos. Don't you ever lecture us about political persecution or going after your political opponents. No. Like Trump said, they opened that Pandora box. We are going to close it. Now, we're going to hop onto Twitter. And we're going to go through a couple things. But first, I want us all to go, to take a flight to Chicago, Illinois. And we're going to watch, this is from a hearing with the mayor of Chicago. So the mayor of Chicago has come out and said that they are going to be a sanctuary city. That Tom Homan and Trump and the mass deportation is not going to work in the state of Illinois or in the city of Chicago. By the way, look at that wonderful Black American wearing a red fight, fight, fight t-shirt. Amazing. The mayor of Chicago standing across from him, and it's a couple-minute video, several cutouts of people talking about how they feel about their mayor wanting to use their tax dollars to protect illegal immigrants. Let me make a crazy prediction. Illinois is going to turn red within the next 3 elections at the most. You heard it here first. 3 more election cycles at the most. At the most. And Chicago is going red. You heard it here first. Watch this.
Brandon Johnson, the good news is we got 48 days before Trump take that oath. In January, ICE going to come in and get rid of the illegal immigrants. Here's the thing. In order for us to get these taxes, we got to get rid of these illegals. Mm-hmm. So this was going to happen to you. You got Kash Patel and Pam Bundy that you're going to have to deal with sooner than later. Then it's going to be an audit. Next, it's going to be an investigation. Then it's going to be an indictment.
Well, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. Look at this.
Oh my God.
Woo!
Conviction. That's what's going to happen to you.
Oh my God.
One thing that Chicago people know very well is how to spot a scam. And the scam has been exposed. I want to say thank you to the city council. I want to say thank y'all for voting down that $300 million. Thank you for saving us $300 million. Thank you for saying no to $150 million. And we want y'all to say no to the $60 million. You all did not get enough hand claps, enough support, enough love. Know that the whole country was clapping and proud of the work of this city council because our mayor is embarrassing us, y'all, around the world. And you all took the power back from him to say the city of Chicago is out of the business of funding illegals. We are out of the business of prioritizing non-American citizens on top of the American citizens who go out in this cold weather every day to make money to pay their taxes.
The budget will be balanced. The budget will include investment.
This dude is such a clown. And really quickly, a quick comment. I guarantee you that beautiful young lady and that gentleman, they voted Democrat before. They were probably Democrats their entire lives. But they wanted to give us a great reset with, 2020 and the flu. instead of a great reset, they got the great awakening. The entire country, from Gen Z to boomers to millennials, from males to females, from straight, gay, Muslim, Christian, atheist, everybody moved to the right. If you look now, if you watch an NFL game, last week or maybe in a week from now, instead of them kneeling for the national anthem, everyone is standing there proud, hands on their hearts. You see NFL players doing the Trump dance. Baby, we are winning we've won the culture war. We are almost there.
Investments. The ultimate work is to have real progressive revenue at the state level. Whatever we do in this particular budget cycle, we're going to have to do more statewide. And it's not limited to the state. Multiple conversations.
People are not going to want to move here. A number of my just woes. Again,
congressional leaders. This is an ongoing dynamic that really requires progressive, bold leadership in this moment.
Progressive revenue policies will only fail and continue to exacerbate the city's financial woes. I was recently in Nashville with my wife 2 weeks ago, and I just randomly met 4 people who had moved from Chicago to Tennessee because of the tax burden. A number of my friends moved to Colorado, they moved to Nashville, they moved to Texas. We don't want to move, but there's really no alternative. If we're just going to continue to raise taxes, people are not going to want to move here, or people are not going to want to stay here. Okay? The only way.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in Chicago, they are raising taxes to fight Trump and his mass deportation. They are raising taxes on their citizens to protect illegal immigrants, to have money to house these illegals, to feed them, clothe them, give them cash, give them food stamps, give them free phones. So while their own people, their natural born citizens or their legal immigrants who are living paycheck to paycheck, their taxes are going up, 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 because they don't want to be a sanctuary city. Sure. I can't wait till all these people go to prison. Now, let's move on here. Kash Patel was on the Benny show this morning, and they talked about the January 6th Select Committee from the Daily Mail. Former January 6th Select Committee deleted more than 100 encrypted files from its probe in the days before Republicans took over the House majority. Listen to what Kash Patel says.
Is this illegal?
Yes, I was the first person subpoenaed by the Unselect Committee. My transcript was the last one released, even though they wrote to us and my attorneys that we would release it. And this committee, it doesn't surprise me that they're burying and destroying evidence. I submitted into my transcript, into my sworn deposition testimony, 5 government reports from the Biden administration that they excluded from my testimony. The same thing they did in Colorado when I was the lead witness for Donald Trump. They excluded the Mayor Bowser letter where she refused Donald Trump's request authorization for National Guard, the Nancy Pelosi demand where she issued an edict to the Capitol Police saying, in writing, no to the National Guard. This was the crux of the insurrection narrative, and the 2 documents that exonerate President Trump were excluded, and they weren't written by Donald Trump. They were written by Pelosi and Bowser.
So there are several files that make sure Trump, exonerate Trump, and they were written by Nancy Pelosi. And then the Unselect Committee deletes them. That's a federal crime. Whenever you do an investigation, you have to keep all paperwork saved and on file for at least a minimum of 2 years. You cannot mess with it. You cannot delete it. You cannot misplace it. You cannot sell it. Don't be a Biden. Don't sell. And don't be a Hillary who destroys information. But let's get back into it. You're not allowed to do anything for at least 2 years. But they deleted. And they didn't delete everything. They just deleted the stuff that proves Donald Trump is not guilty of January 6th.
In the Capitol Police. And it gets worse. Joe Biden's Department of Defense Inspector General, Joe Biden's DOD IG reviewed January 6th, and his findings were the following. And I submitted that to the January 6th committee. The Trump administration and its Department of Defense before, during, and after January 6th acted appropriately, swiftly, and in accordance with the law when it came to the deployment of the National Guard. How can that be a finding of Joe Biden's Inspector General and Donald Trump still be prosecuted for insurrection?
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait until the hammer is dropped on all these people. I'm going to be playing you one more video of a court filing that Donald Trump just did today. But before we continue, I got to give a big shout out to my very good friend, Matthew Geiger, the owner of Verity Metals. He's a patriot. He's a Trump supporter, a very close friend of mine and a dear friend of mine. He's here in Glendale, Arizona, and he believes in the Constitution. That is why he is in the gold and silver industry. He is helping the patriot community protect their finances through physical gold and silver. You can protect your IRAs, 401ks, your cash retirement. And the reason I believe he's the best in the industry, number one, when you call him, you speak to the owner of the company directly through your entire process. It's not a huge call center. Number two, when it comes to storing your precious metals, he works with people he personally knows all across the country. So you will always know where your metals are, who has the keys to your metals, and they are not just mingled with everybody else. His prices are the best. He's a patriot. He donates to Trump, big Trump supporter, loves the patriot community. And when it comes to storage, nobody can beat Matthew and Verity Metals. So call him today. Go to veritymetals.com or call him 480-717-9081. Links down below in the description. Get free silver on qualifying orders. Again, he does IRAs, 401ks, cash. You can get a coin, a roll of coins, a little bit, a lot. That's up to you. But ladies and gentlemen, time to get back to the Constitution and constitutional money. Let's continue. So we're going to get right here. Trump made a huge court filing today. Let me Trump has officially filed a motion to dismiss the hoax hush money sham, citing the fact that Joe Biden's pardoning of Hunter is proof that the prosecutions are purely political. The pardon is backfiring on Democrats. Yesterday, in issuing a 10-year pardon to Hunter Biden that covers any and all crimes, whether charged or uncharged, President Biden asserted that his son was selectively and unfairly prosecuted and treated differently. President Trump's status as president-elect and the soon-to-be sitting president is a legal impediment to further criminal proceedings based on the presidential immunity doctrine established by the Supreme Court last summer and the Supreme Supremacy Clause. Even Smith has been forced to concede by DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel that President Trump's status as president-elect mandates dismissal of the unjust prosecutions pending against him. Let's listen to this.
They are citing the language President Biden used when he announced the pardoning of his son, Hunter. The filing reads in part, yesterday, in issuing a 10-year pardon to Hunter Biden that covers any and all crimes, whether charged or uncharged, President Biden asserted that his son was selectively and unfairly prosecuted and treated differently. The president-elect and his legal team has continuously argued that his criminal case would present unconstitutional disruptions to his presidency and that the case was a form of political theater.
Who remembers how I started off the video? Who remembers how I started off the video? I said Joe Biden Joe Biden took a gift, right? We'll imagine for a second that my Bible is a gift. And he said, Mr. President-elect Donald Trump, I am going to give you something almost as great of a reward as winning the presidency again. After all you've been through, winning the presidency was the best thing you could do. But I'm going to give you something that is, barely second to that. I'm going to give you a gift. And the gift is I'm going to pardon my son. And not only am I going to pardon him, I'm going to give him a blanket pardon going back 10 years. And in my pardoning letter documents, I'm going to say that my son, if he was not a hunter, like if his name was not a Biden, he would not have been treated this way. And then Trump takes it and says, but Mr. Jojo Biden, the potato, isn't it your DOJ that is indicting your son? These are your appointed people. So if your appointed people are playing political games against your own son, what about me? Not only that, but if you're going to pardon your son, I'm going to pardon the J6 political prisoners. Usually when a pardon comes down, it's when somebody's already gone through trial. They've been sentenced, and they're in jail. They have remorse, and they're sorry for what they've done. Hunter, none of that has happened. No remorse, hasn't been sentenced, didn't do a day in jail. So this is the weirdest pardon we've ever seen. And pardons usually come when someone's been found guilty of something. His pardon goes, it's a blanket pardon. Not only that, but his pardon, from the moment he was pardoned, there were 5 hours into the future. So for the next 5 hours after the pardon came down, Hunter Biden could literally go and unalive someone and not get in trouble. That's how powerful. There has never been a pardon like this in the history of the United States, if the world. There were 5 hours more to where Hunter Biden could literally break any law in the universe and cannot be investigated, indicted, or charged for. We've never seen that. Also, it goes back to 10 years, and it says you can't investigate him, you can't indict him, you can't try him. We've never, so that is a gift. And plus the wording in the indictment where he says, oh, political persecution, he's a Biden. They opened a Pandora box, and now they wish they never did. And now they're trying to close it somehow. Trust me, libtards, MAGA's going to close it. We're going to shut it so quickly, and we're going to throw away the keys to this Pandora box, and we're going to lock you in it. We're going to put you in the Pandora box. We're going to lock up the doors. We're going to throw away the keys and make sure this Pandora box is never opened again. And the people that are responsible for opening this box of political persecution in this country are going to be regretting. For the people that deleted all the January 6th findings, you're going to prison. All the people that are behind Donald Trump persecution, like Fani Willis, Jack Smith, and many others, you're going to prison. For the people that are behind, who colluded with Biden's administration, DOJ and FBI, to raid Trump's house, indict him, you're all going to prison. You're all schmackety-doo. How are you? Not good. But this is where I say, ladies and gentlemen, praise the Lord. He's on our side. To see what our movement has gone through in the last 7 years, from the stolen elections, right? From COVID to January 6th, to impeachment 1, impeachment 2, Russia, Ukraine, the raid, the indictments, the mugshot. Guilty on guilty on all of these felonies, 34 counts of felonies, paying a hooker, and then to come back and to win in a landslide the way Trump won, and also carrying the Senate and keeping control of the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, praise the Lord. Praise be to God, Jesus Christ, Lord Almighty. I love him. I want to show you something. This is gonna. By the way, here's my prediction. Joe Biden is going to pardon within the next 3 weeks his brother Jim, and either on January 19th or the morning of January 20th, right before Trump gets inaugurated, he will pardon himself, a blanket pardon. He's going to pardon his brother, and he's going to pardon himself. So Joe Biden flew to Africa today. And you guys all remember we had some hurricanes, right? And there are still Americans hurting. Their homes have been destroyed, livelihoods destroyed, job locations destroyed, families ripped apart. America last. Biden pledges another $3 billion plus over $1 billion of humanitarian support to Africa in rambling and slurred speech as Americans continue to struggle from hurricane flooding. So one of those $3 billion is to help African, people who live in Africa after a natural disaster. How does this make you feel? This right here, it ticks me off. Our citizens get $700 per family if they go online and fill out an application and are approved. But Africa gets whatever they want. I don't know. This one that pisses me off. I want to get to this. I want to get to two comments. This one first. Biden may step down so he can be pardoned by Kamala. He doesn't need to step down. He can pardon himself. And he hates her too much to step down and even let her be president for a day. If Joe Biden is impeached, then that means Kamala's going to be president. And we don't want that. Not even for now. But ladies and gentlemen, praise the Lord. We won. We're almost there. We just a few more weeks and we get our country back. We get a leader who's in the White House that loves this country. And again, I want to give a big shout out to Verity Metals. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe in this stuff. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is just taking the paper dollar and converting it to a different currency, a currency that doesn't need to be backed by anything. This used to back the American dollar, and constitutionally is still supposed to. And I believe we will be going back to the gold standard. Gold and silver is precious. It's God's money. It's biblical money. It's constitutional money. It's historically the oldest money in the world. And this is the only currency that has never, ever failed. Give a big punch to the nose to big banks and to the Fed. Of course, we still got to use paper to pay bills and all that stuff. But if you got a big chunk, convert it into this. It's a great investment. It's great to keeps your money safe from a market shift, market collapse, or collapse of the dollar. So go to veritymetals.com or call my good friend Matthew. That's his personal number, 480-717-9081. Mention me, get free silver on qualifying orders. They do IRAs, 401ks, retirement, and cash. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I'll be back doing another live tomorrow. See you then. God bless.